we are live on the Google Hangout, and I am pushing us live on the webinar app. So hey everyone, welcome to day 7, the final day of Teachable's Course Creation and Business Accelerator. Woo! Who has been with me here like any other day in this past 7 days? Because today is a big one. Say hello, say hi in chat, get to know each other. And for everyone who this is their first day, you picked a great one. We are going to learn how to launch your course, which is huge, right? This is when you put your baby into the world, and I am so excited. And not just because I love launching courses and that's fun. We also have a super awesome guest today. Jenna, do you want to say hey and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Jenna Sword. I'm from youcanbrand.com, and I am a course creation enthusiast and maybe even a ninja. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Multiple courses. Do you just want to name what those are? Because I think people might recognize them.
Yeah, so I have a program called the Launch Your Brand Program, which is how you create your own logo, brand strategy, and website in 45 days. And I have another program called the Course Launcher, where I teach people how to create their own courses in 30 days.
Absolutely. Yes. They are so good. So Jenna is absolutely fantastic. Really thrilled to have her today and thrilled to have all of you here with us. Woo! So if you can't tell, I'm very excited. I've had about 3 cups of coffee, grab one as we jump into this. So proper introductions, of course, I am Ashley Hockney over at Teachable. We are located in smelly New York City in Union Square. It is a beautiful day, finally. And today I'm hoping to learn how I can help you and what your biggest pain points are with launching. Because again, this is a live presentation. We can tailor everything to what you are asking. In fact, that's kind of the point. So say who you are, where you are from, and what you are hoping to learn today in terms of launching. Jenna, anything you want to learn today?
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what kinds of unique perspective Teachable has on the launching process, because you guys are amazing. And I think that everybody puts their own little unique flavor and style into launching. And I'm really excited for us to collaborate and like talk about your version and my version and how they kind of merge together.
Exactly. And we will certainly do that. That is a huge point in launching, is making it your own. So early bird catches the worm. We're going to jump right into this. We've got about 200 people live with us right now. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screens. Let me know if you have any issues seeing them, but I don't think you should at all. All right, cool. So you should see a big teal screen that says Course Creation and Business Accelerator. Your course launch, your own, and our tested strategy to make sure that you get it right. Perfect. So for anyone who is new today, one, say hi, say hello. What is this Business Accelerator? It is 7 days of action-based workshops to take you from ideation to launch. And each day is equal parts strategy, demos, and action points. So most webinars, most workshops, most virtual summits, they're a lot of strategy. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna show you how to launch your course. And then they like just tell you like what you should do, but they don't actually show you how. So today we're going to go into the nitty gritty, demos, action points, telling you what to write and how to write it. And we have advice from the experts. These experts. If you've been with us all week, you know that we've had the guys from Miracy, Caitlin Batcher, Nicole Walters, and today we have Jenna Sword, who is totally amazing. Really, really stoked to be working with her today. This workshop will be perfect for you if you've ever wanted to own your own business and generate income your way. So you guys have heard me say it before, but it's true. You can decide if you want to work, 80 hours a week and generate 300K a year, or you could decide that you just want to make about 50K and chill out at like 10 hours a week. You get to decide how much time you want to put in your business, how scalable you want to make it to meet your revenue goals. Then, if you're a business owner, a blogger, a creative looking to create additional revenue stream, if you're sitting out there with an audience that you don't know how to make money off of, right, we're going to show you how to do it. And if you want to create a course to share what you know and help a lot of people at once. So we all have to make money, right? We have to put a roof over our head. We have to feed ourselves. And we get a choice about how we do that. And the thing about courses is that at the end of the day, you get to fall asleep at night knowing that you are making your money from making the world a better place and sharing your skills. The whole goal in this Business Accelerator, and it's really cool and really, really, truly what we're trying to do is see 100 brand new course creators to launch, and we want you to be one of them. But this means that I have one ask. that you're ready to learn and do the work. You know, guys, I sit down every week, I interview someone new for our Make Change newsletter, and they all tell me, you know, when I ask them for the last piece of advice for someone looking to start their business, they say, decide to do it now, right? Not tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. You know, life is busy, it always will be. So not tomorrow. And no, not someone else. This is really, really common. People think, oh, that worked out for them because they had X, Y, and Z that I don't have. And they're special because of this. No, absolutely not. Not someone else, you. Not tomorrow, not someone else, you. So we're going to jump into it. Let's do it.
Yay!
Yay! You guys ready? Are you ready to launch your course into the world? Are you ready to figure out how to do that? Give me a heck yes. Let's do this. Let's get excited, right? Because this information we're sharing today is the kind of stuff people would charge for. In fact, I got in a little bit of trouble here at Teachable the first time I shared this because they're like, Ashley, that's too valuable. But it's out there. We're happy to share it with you guys. And it works. It really, really does. So we feel good about putting that out there for you all. Okay, so everyone looks excited.
I know I'm excited.
Jackson, Michelle has a question. Carol's ready. Madeline is ready. Okay, Doc, how many Red Bulls should I keep to catch up? Well, you know, that's up to you. But here is the schedule. So over the past 7 days, we've gone through validating our idea. We've found students, built our list, priced our course, talked about creating the content, you know, and if you missed any of these days, I will show you how to get the replays at the end here. And now we are on day 7, launching your course into the world. And here's my promise to you. If you get our proven launch sequence, right, that we just use, and it has brought course creators just like yourself to 5-figure launches. So you're getting our proven launch sequence that has taken other people just like yourself to 5-figure launches. You know, not tested marketers, not online entrepreneurs, people who are, you know, developers or self-proclaimed, like, not marketers, right? We're going to show you how to do it. And so the big thing is, one, take some notes. Pull out the pen and paper, make sure you're writing this down in a way that you'll remember. And it is proven that writing things down with a pen and paper makes it stick more so than with an Evernote or Word doc. And if you already have a school on Teachable, tell me what it is in chat. You know, I just want to get to know you guys as an audience, know who you are, see where y'all are at. So if you have a school on Teachable, tell me in chat. And so since we've had about 50 people join since the beginning, very, very quick intro. I am Ashley Hockney over at Teachable. I'm our head of content. I've created multiple courses, including the Profitable Teacher, Teachable's flagship program, many other internal courses I've consulted. I've seen what works, right? And my entire job here at Teachable is to create content that helps you succeed. Right? You know, we won't succeed as a company unless you do. So my entire job is to figure out how to help you. And that is exactly why we put together this business accelerator. And then we have, of course, with us today, we have Jenna. And so Jenna launched youcanbrand.com. She's taught almost 200 small business owners how to design their own brand and website. And she's worked for places like Nike, the University of Oregon, and the Forbes School of Business. So too legit, right?
Thanks. And you know what? Actually, that's even grown to even more from my last biggest launch. So I have even more hundreds of students too. So it's so exciting.
Definitely. It's so true. So guys, as a team, we've watched over 12,000 course launches, you know, and we have access to all this hard data for our schools. We can go in, pull the correlations. We've interviewed our top instructors, picked their brains, solved their support issues, and we've seen what works and what doesn't. And we've come to one pretty incredible conclusion. And this really, really is, you know, this sounds like a line. It's not. I've sat down with our top instructors after someone has a 5-figure launch. I'll interview them and I ask, you know, what did you do first? And next, and next. And it's always the same thing, right? There's just one tried and true tested method for building and launching your course. And that is beautiful, right? It's magical. It means there's a formula, it's repeatable, and you can do it. You just have to know what it is. And that is what we are going over today. And today especially, today is really important for launching your course, your baby, into the world, because this is the one place where repeatable strategy is key. So here's the big question. Who's ready to get to the fun stuff and launch your course, right? Let me know if you're ready to launch. Let me know if you're thinking about that. Or are you still worried about content, sales pages, etc.? I want to know who's really ready to get into launch.
I'm so excited about launching new courses because like it's the process of creating and launching, it's a little bit addictive.
Yes. the high at the launch and the low when you're starting over. Definitely.
Yes, or just like, that ability once you capture a paying student to give them more things that they need ends up being so much of an easier sell too. So I think it's amazing to be able to like provide more and more value for current customers and students and then continue to grow from that. So fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't wait to ask you about launch 2 and 3. So in a lot of different parts of your business, experimentation is great. When it comes to what social media, what lead magnet, yeah, wonderful. But really, sometimes it is just better to follow a proven plan that works. And that's especially key when it comes to launching, right? This is the point where all of your hard work starts to make money and where you don't want to mess it up. It's high risk. This is not the place to take risks and make experiments. So right now, I want to give you a very simple but very effective launch calendar. Basically, I want to give you something that you can easily follow. It's Teachable's Crazy 8 launch strategy, right? And it works in 2 parts. The first part is an education phase, right? And so what we mean by education is you're not directly selling. You're educating your audience on your topic and who you are. You're warming up your list. You're basically telling people who you are and sharing knowledge so they trust you. And then part 2 is a launch phase. So this is when you actually get into selling, okay? So we'll start at the beginning, the education phase. You warm up your list, right? And by talking about your course topic, you start to generate demand for what you're doing. You start to build trust for who you are. And this kind of content will feel like, and pretty much is, a newsletter, right? So earlier this week, we talked about lead magnets being like a taste test, right? You walk into a bakery, you taste a little bit, you know what you're buying, you know what you're getting, you know who you're getting it from. And marketing your course online is doing the same thing. You give away a free piece of content, people give you their email address, and they get to know you. But people aren't always ready to go straight from walking into your store to register. They need to peep around. They need to, think of how you shop in a store. You need to feel around. You need to check out the products. You need to try them on. This is why you're going to send a newsletter to your people in a very consistent way so they get to know you and are ready to buy eventually. So Jenna, do you want to speak about the importance of, not selling to someone right away when they come onto your list?
Sure. And I want to make, I had to switch my microphone really quick. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay, perfect. So getting them, like, you don't want to sell to them too quickly because you need to prove your value and you need to actually give them, just like you had said with the bakery thing, a taste of what they're going to be working with. People want to do business and learn from people that they know, like, and trust. And it's kind of like dating. And if you start to sell to them right away, it's a little bit like, you're being too forward in a date where it could be a turnoff, and you kind of need to woo them and they need to fall in love with you before they're going to be willing to, marry you or whatever it is going to be.
$300, right?
Yeah, spend $300. And I think that what you can do is, and I know from my own experience with my own courses, that it's my number one goal to make them feel when they do invest with me that even if it's $2,000, which some of my courses are that expensive, I've had people say, this was the best money I've ever spent. It was worth every single penny. And when they're investing that much money, you want them to be super ecstatic. And I think that that value can really be raised depending on the kind of interactions that you have with them. And so if you have a highly interactive course where they're working, with you personally, you can charge a lot more money. They feel the value in it. And so as long as you're warming them up properly, when it gets to the point where they need to make a $1,000 or $2,000 decision, if you're doing courses that are that expensive, that they feel excited to actually invest with you and then still walk away feeling like they got more than their money's worth, it's a pretty amazing process to do this, but that's why we're all here, right?
Absolutely. And if anyone wasn't here for our pricing seminar, you'll definitely want to check that out, because that's where we address how to price that course above $100, $200 and put it closer to $5,000 or $1,000, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. So we have, we've been talking about our 30-day follow-up program here at Teachable. And this is a little ugly sneak peek, right? This was my draft before you guys get all the good stuff. But what we are doing in this education phase is this. Every Tuesday, we're sending a newsletter email. We are sending a newsletter email, and we're sending another newsletter email, right? And we are doing it the same day every week for 3 weeks. And this doesn't mean creating like new massive content. This just means sending out the lead magnets that you have already created. And this is something we do at Teachable. Anyone who is on the Teachable blog, hopefully you're on our newsletter, every Thursday, 11 a.m., new content. Very, very consistent. And what this does is put you in touch with your people. They're getting to know you, you're getting feedback, and you're staying in touch. And this doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be complicated. Check out the newsletters I've written. Hopefully, they're in your inbox, or you can see them on the Teachable blog. A little paragraph about what you're sending out a lot of times can do, because again, this is the education phase, not the selling phase. And as you do this, right, you're sending out free content, you're sending out more content, and maybe you're marketing your lead magnets over in these other weeks. At some point in this process, people are going to be very ready to buy your course, right? And why? Well, they've gotten to know you. You've proved that you're trustworthy. You've given them free things. And there's this sense of reciprocity, right? If you've given someone something for free, they want to give back to you. And they know you, they trust you, you know your content. And after doing this over 3 weeks, people are going to be really ready to buy your course. And what I want you guys to know is that for your first launch, you can keep things small, right? You can have a 5-figure launch with less than 1,000 subscribers. I threw in a hashtag course math here, but early in the days, we went through how we priced our course and how very, very quickly you can start to generate a lot of money. People like Caitlin Batcher, who was with us yesterday, very successful 5-figure launch, a list of 850 people. And that's really, really manageable. And so at this point, guys, I don't want anyone to think that they have to keep creating lead magnets and creating content until they have a list of 5,000 people. If you're at just 1,000 subscribers, you can have a very successful launch.
And I was going to chime in there too. My very first launch ever with 1,500 people was a $33,000 launch. So you don't, you can have really, really nice big launches with lists that are not huge.
Absolutely. The key is that content that you're giving out before is good. You've warmed them up. Your people know and love you.
Yes.
All right, y'all. So this is where we jump into the nitty gritty. And this is Teachable's Crazy 8 launch strategy. So maybe y'all have heard this before. It's our Crazy 8 launch. A bunch of our students have used it and had really successful results. So why do we call it the Crazy 8? We think any longer than 8 days might drive you crazy, and anything less, you'd be selling yourself short. And we wanted you to remember the Crazy 8 launch and come back to it. Because in this selling phase, this is when you actually launch your course into the world. It is an 8-day email sequence, and it builds anticipation. It gets people excited, urgency. Oh man, I have to buy and buy now, and demand. Oh, people really want this thing. I do too. And these are big things. I also want you to notice that this is an email sequence, right? So sometimes people, when they think about launching, they think they have to do a massive webinar, or they have to go speak at a conference, or it should all be done over social media. And that just isn't true, right? We've built our email list for a reason, and that's because it allows us to directly sell to our people. The email inbox is a sacred place, and you get to be there. So this is a simple email sequence, 8 days, 8 emails, that will show you to success. And this is what it looks like. So after you've created all of your content, after you've sent out your newsletters, maybe you'll start on Thursday. And in our follow-up program, this is what it will look like. You're going to send one email every day for 8 days. And in this time, you're going to accomplish all 3 of these emotions, that anticipation, urgency, and demand. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of those emails right now, because a huge pain point I've heard from people creating their courses, dang, I did not realize how hard email copy was.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. I know, Jenna, how was writing your first sales email? Will you tell me about that?
I actually didn't know what I was doing, and I threw a lot of spaghetti at the wall before I finally figured out the right method to do it. And I think that, there's a certain, when you really dive into kind of the personality of your brand, you can get away with things without knowing a lot until you can. But once I actually got into a real strategy, kind of like probably the one that you're going to show right now, the amount of conversions quadrupled, because I didn't realize how much psychology was involved in really having a customer finally understand why they need your product. So, there's different kinds of people. There's procrastinators. There's people who don't believe that necessarily you're the expert that you are yet. And so you have to position yourself as an expert. You have to show that you understand their problem. You have to, figure out a way to explain that every moment that they're not participating in the problem that your company is trying to help them solve, that they're actually losing something. So the positioning of all of that stuff usually leads to, to make it a once or twice or 3 times a year enrollment, and then that urgency pushes them over the edge. And I used to do emails where I didn't do any of that stuff, and once I did, explosion of sales. So,
I love that. I can't wait to get your advice on these emails.
Yes, totally.
I love it. So here's a quick thing. This is the overview of the emails you're sending. Day 1, and this is the nitty gritty. So take notes. Let's get into it, because this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to find for free anywhere else. I promise, really. So the email on day 1 is a course teaser. You mentioned that you're going to be launching a course, that it's opening soon, and you get people really excited. On day 2, you send an email and you say what the course is. You say, yes, I'm launching a course. It opens tomorrow, and here's what's in it. And you go through all of the different sections you plan to teach about. And so this is great, because if you're someone in your audience who's like, oh yeah, I'm interested in a course on photography, but I want to learn these specific things, if those things are in your course, people will really, really want it. And this email will be long. When we wrote it, it was 1,000 words. On day 3, your course opens for enrollment. This is the day the doors open, it goes live, people can jump in, and hey, this is where the money starts to come in. This is when it happens. Day 3, the course opens, the email goes out, and boom, the bank account starts rolling. On day 4, you start to answer the FAQs, those questions. Is this course right for me? How long is the guarantee? Can I get a refund? This email will save you a ton of time if you do it right, because if you don't answer the questions now, you're going to answer them later in customer care questions. Really, people will just wonder. On day 5, you have a surprise bonus added. So you say, hey, if you buy my course and buy it now, I'm going to give you this bonus you didn't know about. And now only. So you start to build that sense of urgency and why people should buy now. On day 6, and this is my favorite email to write, it's the thank you email. At this point, a lot of the people who have bought your course will be tweeting about you or sending emails or writing in a Facebook group about how awesome your course is and what they think. You're wanting to take screenshots of this, put this in an email, and what this does is, 1, it says thank you to everyone who has bought, but it also works as social proof and testimonials for those who haven't. On day 7, you make a logical argument for why buying your course now makes sense, and that is that your course is closing. You're a first-time course creator, it's probably true that you don't know when you'll launch again, or if you'll launch again, or when this course will be available. And all you have to do is be honest and say, hey guys, this is closing really soon. If you want it, now's the time. And the email on day 8 is the day where you're going to see the most money roll in. It's when enrollment closes. And on this day, you can even send an extra 1 to 2 emails. So I might send one at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and then an hour before it closes at midnight, something like this to really build that anticipation. And right now, y'all, I want to get into the nitty gritty. and talk about each one of these emails and how you write them and what they're accomplishing. And definitely take some notes, because this will make it a lot easier on you guys later. So day one is the course teaser email. You need to tease out the course and build excitement. You need to let people know that you're creating a course, what it's about, and that you'll be opening it soon. So they should pay attention to their email. Maybe even be direct as, hey, pull me into your primary inbox instead of updates. Use phrases like, I'll share the fun details later. The excitement is killing me. I've been working for hours on this for you. Keep this upbeat and positive and start generating excitement around what you will be doing. Cool. All right. Day two. What is the course email? Well, actually, at this point, day one, does anyone have any questions about this? Since we're live and we're getting into these small details, let me know in chat. And I think David asked, do you have a template of all of this? Yes, and I will be sharing that soon. Cool. Joel, using social media to promote a lead magnet to get an email list. Cool. I think that's a question about a seminar we covered earlier this week. Perfect. Do photos help? Jenna, do you put photos in your launch emails?
You know, I actually have a tendency to never put in more than one photo per email. I try not to, because it helps so much with the deliverability of the email. So in general, I mean, from my experience, if you have a lot of images in an email, it can sometimes lead to emails getting more likely to be sent to spam or to promotions. Yeah. And what I discovered is less links and less images equals more likelihood. So I really try to keep it to no more than 2 links in one image.
Absolutely. And that's so true with email deliverability. Some other good tips: never put free in your subject line. I don't know, Jenna, do you have a couple others?
Yeah, I would say, you know, making sure that the email is actually not super short. Usually the way that email services kind of read whether or not something is likely to be spam, they actually they kind of like scan the email before it gets delivered to see what category it would fall into. And if you have something that's super short with a link, they automatically think that it's spam, and you actually kind of get more quality points, or however it works, if the email is longer. And so the scrolling can be really helpful for adding to that deliverability score or what have you. So yeah, so making it not super short, you know, being mindful of the links and images, having starting it off with hello and their name, and having that tag come in to bring their name in. Even like introductory things like how are you or something will come across to the email systems as if this is actually an email from somebody that they know, so that the deliverability is a lot better with that, versus being general and saying, hey, everyone, and and not being specific, and maybe not using those name tags that actually bring in the name from an email marketing system. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
That's pretty on it. I've heard, you know, things with too many capital letters in your body text. Definitely.
Yeah. Or like just lots and lots of formatting can usually lead to them thinking that it's not a normal email. But you know, it is a kind of a balance. And one thing that I've discovered is that when I switched from a highly like HTML, like a very HTML design email, to something that was more text-based, that I actually saved the image for my signature, so that it was actually a picture of me with a signature on it. So that way I would still be falling under that 1 to 2 image rule max, and then being able to have the ability to have them still know it was me.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Real quick, Sam says, what if I'm launching at a conference, not through email, but I'll be speaking at a conference about my topic? Sam, launching at a conference is great, but you 100% want to do an email launch sequence as well. And Dale, what if you don't have a list? Well, hey, check out our earlier replays. We talk about why an email list is so essential for launching a course and how you can build it really easily. Okay, guys, so we'll take more questions at the end, but let's get into slide 2. Or I'm sorry, day 2. What is in the course email? So this is the day where you describe what's in your course, and you want to write everything from a sales angle. And y'all, I know how uncomfortable this is. A huge point of feedback we hear is, hey, I want to sell my course, but I don't want to be salesy. That's fine, but this is your launch sequence. This is the one time in your life you do have to be salesy. And this means empathizing with your readers, and talking about the benefits of taking your course, not the features. So you don't want to say, I have 22 videos about my topic. You want to say, my course will teach you whatever that outcome is, right? Because again, people take your course because they want the knowledge. They want whatever you're saying you'll teach someone. They don't take it because they want to do homework on the weekend. So make sure you keep that in mind. And in this, you're very specifically going to explain the various modules and takeaways and build up the value of your bonus content in your course. And at the end, you'll tell your students that your course will become available to buy tomorrow. An awesome thing you can do to set yourself up for success is to add a click to tweet, because later in that social proof email, you want social proof. So it's really simple to add a click to tweet to the end of your email so people can start very easily tweeting about your course, its launch, and how it's going. And Jenna, do you use click to tweets in your emails?
You know, I have before. I have a tendency to use them. So I'm really strange about how I do, like how I do actually sending out blogs. I only do blogs from an inspired place instead of on a schedule, but I remove all the dates from them so nobody ever knows how new or old they are unless they're just getting them. And so when I write a new one, I send the blog out in an email, and I usually will have a click to tweet on the blog entry, and I'll have a click to tweet in the email. So yeah, I do them. I just like, I only write blogs like once a month, so it doesn't happen often. But
and do your click to tweets then have hashtags? Do they, of course you want a bit.ly to whatever your course?
Yeah. I will do hashtags sometimes depending on what it is. I think the most important thing is, in those blogs, if I'm going to be promoting something that the bit.ly link, it actually goes to a blog that has a lead magnet inside the blog. So I'm growing my list if anybody shares it through the click to tweet, so that if they're coming to a blog entry, that there's a way to be growing the list while they're getting to that. But if it's in regards to a course, I will write a blog about one step of the process of the developing a relationship with getting somebody warmed up to buy a course. And in that blog, I'll have upgrades that will be like one step towards them accomplishing something that would be very appetizing for them to buy the course. So that way, if they're entering into the funnel into like, maybe they weren't there on the first day, that they're getting value throughout the entire launch. And so that's super helpful. So yeah, if you're doing click to tweet, make sure that you have a bit.ly link, which it's a link shortener thing that you can actually kind of monitor how many people are clicking on it, that will go back to your blog entry where there's an incentive for them to get on your list. So you're just growing your list as people are promoting whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's spot on.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So day 3, this is when the course opens. It's your course open email. You communicate that it's open to buy. You want to link to your sales page so people can buy and buy now. So we talked about how to build a beautiful sales page, and this is where you start sending traffic to it. Everyone who is on your email list has a link to go see it. And then because you built it up beautifully and you've taken that advice that we've talked about, people are going to want to buy. And here you can start to include testimonials from that click to tweet or extras that you've collected while creating the sales page. And if you don't have either of these, you can pull statistics from articles about your course topic that validates how important it is. So this is where I might say, okay, my course is on photography and how important it is to, my course is on photography and saving and the storage of my photos. Here I might put like a statistic on like how many people lose their photos or how many haven't been printed or like how many people don't have them backed up, right? So basically emphasizing why your course is so important. This is a big email. You want to knock everyone's socks off and get everyone excited, right? You're launching. This is huge. It's big, and the money will come in. And if you're on a Teachable Professional plan, you get paid out instantly. So this is the one that's going to feel really, really good.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. Yeah, Jenna, how does it feel to launch a course?
It feels okay. like one quick little thing, I would say it's always felt amazing because it's every single time somebody buys something, I feel like it's such an honor. And every time it happens, I'm surprised. It never, ever, ever gets old that somebody is believing in you enough to like want to actually invest in you. And I think even 2 years into this, I always am like, thank you, universe. Like, this is so amazing. And so it's a super empowering thing, especially when you know the stuff that you're teaching is changing people's lives for the better. And then I think the best thing that's happened most recently, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, is I just got done spending 2 months in Europe, and I did a launch while I was traveling Italy, and I came on the trip with a certain amount of money in my bank account, and I came home with 6 times more in my bank account than when I had started.
Wow.
And that experience of taking workations where you're launching, so I was like sightseeing during the day and launching a course at night, was like, oh, I actually need to take vacations because vacations pay me, which is usually the opposite of I need to make money or I'm going to be homeless. And which is what a lot of people think, like they need to pay their bills. They're going to, I suffered from that problem for a long time. And then when you see that happen, you're like, I have the keys to the universe. Like, this is a faucet. Like, people want what I have. They're willing to pay for it. They're super stoked about it. I'm super stoked about it. This is living the dream. This is the most amazing thing possible.
And Jenna's not alone in that. I've sat down with a lot of course creators who I've seen come in on our webinars, our workshops. I've watched them share their info in our community and then launch and be like, holy crap, this worked. Like, oh, this worked. Like, me? Cool. So it really is very, very real. Yeah, and I'm thinking of so many of our people here at Teachable and really happy for all of them. And I want that same thing for you guys. So
absolutely.
Day 4 is the FAQ email. You're answering those logistical questions. So some of those are, how long do they have to buy? How long will they have access to your course? Is there a money back guarantee? Are there payment plans? Are they getting all the content at once? None of the content. Like, when are they getting that? Who the course is for, right? Because as much as it is awesome to make like a $300 on a sale from someone who's not interested, like, that is not your ideal customer. That's not a best practice. Like, do clarify who the course is for and how much time it takes to go through your course. Answer these questions now or answer them in angry emails later. So I would do it now. Mm-hmm. And, you guys will get all of this copy, right? All of these questions. And a big thing I want to cover right now is, are you dripping the content? Because y'all, so you've been here with me. We talked about only creating 2 or 3 sections of content before we launch a course. And that means your launch is really like a pre-sale. Your course isn't fully done yet, and that's fine. And we've talked about all the reasons why this is better for your people and better for you. And here is where you tell people, and even earlier on in day 2 or 3, you want to be very clear that, hey, when you get my course, you're getting the first 3 sections. And then, we're going to be listening to your feedback. I will be creating the others based on you. In your course description, you've already built your outline. You may have very good ideas of those remaining sections you're going to create, but you can tweak them to what your audience says. And be upfront, be transparent. You don't want anyone to buy your course thinking they're getting 6 hours of content if all you've created is 2 or 3. But this really isn't a problem. People oftentimes feel flattered that people are creating a content around them, their needs, their wants. And this is something Lee Wasilenko, he implemented our Crazy 8 launch strategy really successfully. He had 250 people buy his course at $250. He is a VR developer, so virtual reality, not a marketer, which is why he just turned to this launch strategy that we're sharing right now and used this. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I looked around. I looked at a bunch of different content from some of the top names in the industry, and Teachable's launch plan was the most accessible, most clear, and gave me all the copy and guidelines that I needed, and I did it. And he had a 17% conversion rate. So 17% of the people on his email list bought his course. And he did a pre-sale. And so he shares all of his emails, all of that copy in our Teachable Tribe, our Facebook group. And I'm going to show you guys how to get into that group where you can check out what he wrote. So when you go ahead and you pre-sale, you can cue people in, they'll know what's going on, and you don't feel like you have to create this huge 6-hour course all at once before you launch. All right, y'all. Go for it, Jenna.
Oh, I was going to say that one of the things that I discovered about that FAQ email that can be really helpful, and it can be questionable about even where you would enter this in, but one thing that I love to do is when students buy, I have them fill out a quick survey to explain exactly why they bought. And as you get into like the closing of the cart emails, and this can happen sometimes in FAQs too, because sometimes it will inspire which questions that they have as you're surveying them, is that by asking them like why they bought, you can share that reason in some of these emails. And so it will actually make the audience feel like, oh, you know, that's exactly the reason why I would want to buy it. And now that I saw somebody else would do it, it encourages them to buy as well. So that's a good way, or to add in some things for kind of FAQs and
I love that.
Yeah, totally.
And are your FAQs and your emails exactly the same as the ones you put on the sales page of your course?
You know, I keep the FAQs on the sales page really simple based off of like the things that I know that they're going to have questions about, like, are there going to be any extra costs? What's the refund policy? Like all those standard ones. And in the FAQ email, I actually split it out by the kind of people that are going to have objections. So I look at the common objections of somebody's going to think like they're not tech savvy enough. So I'll ask like the question of like, I'm not tech savvy. Will this, program be too complicated for me? And so those are very specific to my program, but there are frequently asked questions that somebody's going to be able to relate with. And because that email is so long, I have a tendency to not put all of those objections on the sales page, but I definitely do it in the FAQ email for sure.
Absolutely. And you guys, these emails are long. They're about 1,000 words. That feels weird, but that's the best practice, is a very long email that explains everything. All right. So day 5, this is your surprise bonus email. Woo, surprises. You offer an additional incentive to get people to buy and buy now. So you're building, in those opening days, the reason you send 2 emails before actually giving someone the link to your sales page is to build anticipation. And now you're building a sense of urgency for why people should buy and buy now. And that's because if they buy, they get this additional piece of content they're not going to get later. So this can be, hey, any kind of lead magnet you created. We talked about creating bonus content. We talked about creating lead magnets. It is the same process. You're basically just creating a valuable piece of content that people want, that gives them a reason to buy now. This will build excitement. You'll want to explicitly say that you're giving a surprise not mentioned on your sales page, and make that surprise banging, really make this good content. So for instance, something we've done is, hey, if you sign up today, we might give you a discount. We might give you a coupon code. We might give group coaching, something really, really valuable that truly entices people. Day 6, this is the thank you and social proof email. Thank everyone for reading your emails, for being a part of your launch, and write from the heart and in your voice. This is, you have to remember that you might want to launch a second course, a third course, and you want the same students to be like, oh yeah, I love their content. I'm going to create the second one. So write from the heart and in your voice. You can say things like, I've never expected this, include testimonials. And this kind of language also builds social proof. It shows that people have bought your course and are happy with it. And you can bring in a few additional sales here. All right, day 7. Day 7 is your logic and your closing email. In this email, you say that your course is closing. So this is the point I want to emphasize. Your launch is not evergreen, meaning you don't open your course and just let it stay open forever. Because what happens with that is people look at it and they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I could buy it tomorrow. And this is a huge point of psychology that you have to get over for your students. And it's actually better for you too. You open your course, and then you want to close it. It tells people that they need to buy now, that it's going away. And also for you as an instructor, it's much more simple to manage people moving through your course at once as a cohort. Because imagine you have 500, 600 students in your course in every different section and every different module. That can get really difficult. It can be really helpful to have people moving through at the same time. That way you can send an email instead of just answering every additional comment. That way you're fostering a community of people that are working through your course content at the same time. It is very important to open and close your course. And that doesn't mean that you can't relaunch your course later. You can certainly do that. But for your first launch, this will make it more successful. So you also want to build a logical argument for why it makes sense to buy now, reference the surprise bonus, build urgency, and say, hey, I don't know when this course is launching again. That is probably true. And people will start to buy. They'll realize that this is their opportunity. But the biggest day for that, truly, is day 8. It is the last day of your Crazy 8 launch sequence. And on this day, you're going to send 3 emails. One at 9 a.m. that tells your list that today is the last day to get the course. Emphasize why you have to close your doors, how that's a real deadline, and what time is the last time that they can get it. Because people don't always have their credit card on them. They might be in the wrong space. They might read your email on a train. Let people know at what point it closes. The second email, we generally send this around 3 or 4 p.m. It's a midday reminder the cart is closing, how thankful you are, how wonderful the course launch has been, even though you might be tired, hating life, it will be okay. Email on the third email is 1 hour before the cart closes. This is a last chance email. It's very quick, maybe a few sentences, enough to get past those spam filters, but not anything long. And it outlines that this is the last chance to get the course and it's going away now. And this is where the money really will come in. And so guys, right now I have a little bit of a treat for everyone. Kyle or Christina will drop into chat our blog post that basically gives you swipe copy for every single one of these emails. So this is the kind of content that is normally gated that people have to charge for, and we want to give it to you for free. So it will go through a quick outline of what you need to write in every single email, give you example copy, and show you how to write your own. We'll also drop in a link to, we'll show you how to get to the Teachable Tribe so you can find these example copy. Because guys, something really cool is happening right now. And we've noticed this in the past couple of weeks, is that people are catching on and using this Crazy 8 launch. And it's working. It's really working. And so one student shared it, and now more and more, and they're really seeing success with it. So this content was truly created from my own personal pain point. I was consulting with a friend on how they could create a course, and I got to launching and I realized, wait, I don't even know how to do that. What would I actually do? And we realized that this was something we hadn't written about on the Teachable blog in a very clear way. And so we put this all in one place to make it really easy for you, and we're giving it away for free. And Jenna, am I lying when I say that I can charge for that content?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I hear it echo. I don't know what's going. Did you unplug your? Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, absolutely. This kind of content is exactly the kind of content that I sell to my audience. So you guys are getting a pretty amazing deal.
Absolutely. Cool. And so I want to make sure everyone gets that link into chat. I'm dropping that in now, and you guys should be good to go. Perfect. Okay, guys, so back to it. So in this day 8, this last chance email, you're going to see that the money will typically come in spurts. And it looks like this. You send an email one day every day for 8 days, but you're really going to see this money roll in on day 1, maybe a little bit in the middle, and again, really hard on this last day. People are creatures of procrastination. So if you're worried that you're pushing too hard, that you shouldn't send those last emails, I really encourage you to do it. Another thing you can do is host a webinar, right? So if you're feeling up to it and you want to, it really helps to host some kind of live event where you sell your course at the end. You can see a great little boost in income on either of those days, and maybe you have a guest post on someone else's blog. Maybe someone else decided to email out your course lunch. Earlier this week, we talked about online communities and where we validate our idea. And in the follow-up program, I'll encourage you to be working with other people, to be in those communities and making connections. And having someone email out your course launch can be huge. And finally, I want to say, make it you. And I can't wait to hear Jenna's advice on this, because while we are giving you example copy and what we used here at Teachable, and while we're showing you how we did it on each and every day, you want to write in your voice into your audience. That's a unique person that isn't always like ours. And Jenna is an awesome branding expert. Jenna, how do you make your launch your own?
Well, that's a really good question, and a little bit complicated because there's definitely a strategy behind it. But I would say, in the simple answer, it would be creating a brand that is really fitting for the the industry, the ideal client, and your brand personality. And so that means that everything on your website, everything on your Teachable sales pages, everything needs to be fitting for those three things. So let's say, and just to give you a quick example, you want to sell a product to, 40-year-old divorcees that are very wealthy. And you want your brand to feel luxurious. And so your brand personality is luxurious. The courses that you're offering are high end. Then it's really important that the language on the site, the language in the emails, the images that you use have a high end feeling, right? And so all of that has to be sort of cohesive and consistent. And so as you get into developing a personality for your brand, you always want to come from the position as somebody who could be your ideal client's hero. So if you're trying to inspire these women who are 40 and divorcees that are luxury and they are trying to achieve, let's say, happiness, or a certain kind of lifestyle, then you yourself have to sort of exude that. And to take the opposite side, maybe you're a health coach who's trying to promote optimal health. Everything that, in the language and the copy and the brand personality need to be showing as the hero of the ideal client, this optimal health. You can't have your life be falling apart and be a life coach. So once you kind of build a strategy around that, you can kind of have all that happen through the language. Now the cool part about this is that if you are the spokesperson for your brand, which I think many of you here are, since you're going to be teaching these courses, this is your opportunity to start to think of yourself as 2.0. Meaning that if you are trying to show your expertise in the best possible light, then everything that you do is really showing yourself as the expert, as a go-to person for this particular thing. And you kind of, if you don't believe that you're that yet, then you kind of have to come from the approach of what the person that you're going to be growing into as you launch this, and then become that person. Yeah. So the big thing is that being authentic means that you can be personable. It's really awesome to share struggles and how you overcame those struggles. If you show struggles and you don't show the revelation or overcoming it, then people are going to be worried about you. So really, but that authenticity comes through being a real person and showing the ideal client you were where they are and you have accomplished what they're trying to accomplish. And so that can happen in all the emails that we talked about, in the sales page where you're showing the process of going from where they are to where they want to be. I hope does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, lovely. So thorough and so true. So very, very true. And a place where I see people mess up, it's really easy to copy what you've seen someone else do. And it's not you. And that will come off.
Yep. Yeah, people will be able to smell it because, I mean, if you're really trying to emulate somebody too much, it will cause brand confusion. So it never does any good. Like if you try to use the same colors or the same style of photography or create a product that's too similar to something that's already out there in the same sort of way, it's just going to create confusion in the marketplace. So it's in your best interest to find your unique voice. And in my own personal brand, I have a pinup brand, and how that relates to my personal story is I used to be a burlesque dancer. And so I have this history that really qualifies me to be able to have a burlesque brand, I think. And not everybody has that. And so I've had people who love my brand and go out and get burlesque photos taken because they think like, oh, well, since it was a success for Jenna, it should be a success for me, but it's not a part of who they are or their personality or what their ideal clients would want. So the three things: would my ideal client love this? Is it fitting for my industry? Don't make something look like it's made for a tech company when it's actually made for a food company. This way, industry is really important. And does it fit your individual brand personality, your experience, and kind of what you're bringing to the table as a teacher?
Yeah. I love that. So true. Guys, write it down. 1, 2, 3 on it. So right now, guys, I want to give you guys all something really, really awesome and really special. Thank you for showing up today, right? We're going into more. We've got Q&A, but right now I'm going to drop into chat that case study we did of Lee Westlenko, and that will share the copy that he used. We also want to give you, I think I replied to Ala. Ala, I'm sorry. Here we go. We're also going to give you our ultimate email example guide. So that guide has 2 launch sequences, and that guide went viral. So it is awesome. It's something people want. A launch strategy that's really aggregated in that way is hard to find. We're giving it to you right now. So Kyler, Christina will drop that one into chat, and you'll get that as well. So all there for you guys to check out. You now have copy from Lee. You have copy from us. You have copy from 2 different launches, all at your fingertips, so you can read, research, see what other people are doing, and make it your own. So what is swipe copy? I saw a quick question out there. Or I'm sorry, want swipe copy? You just got it, right? We just dropped it in. You probably need a few more things though. If you are a course creator, if you're just starting out, and I've seen some people who are new on this workshop today, and you're coming in on day 7. You might need the rest of these seminars, right? The one where we really validated our idea. When we talked about building our email list to launch to, I know it was Dale out there who was like, but how do I build a list? Dale, we got you. We did it the other days. You might need those seminars, right? And you might need help on course content creation, making that fun and enjoyable rather than painful. And so you need those seminars. You might also need the technology, right? If you're going to launch a course, you need to host a course somewhere. And you might need a game plan, the how-tos, the wins, right? From people like Jenna, from people like us here at Teachable. And this is why we have put together the Course Creation Starter Pack, right? So if you have ever wanted to launch a course, but you thought about it, the timing was never right, and you secretly wondered if it would really work out for you, if when you sat down to plan out your course, you had no idea where to start, and I've so been there, and if when you started, life got in the way, difficulties arose, and the outline got set to the side, then this, as the industry experts, is the thing to get. We're offering you the most comprehensive course launch plan ever created, and we're giving it away for free, which is totally crazy, but we wanted to take you guys to success. So this Course Creation Starter Pack is made for first-time course creators or people who want an easy-to-follow game plan to launch. So if you're on a Teachable free plan, or this is your first time getting in touch with Teachable, this is for you. If you are on a paid plan, I've got something else for you at the end. So let's go into what you get in the Course Creation Starter Pack. Just like Oprah, you get a free month, and you get a free month, and you get a free month.
I love that.
Everyone gets a free month of Teachable. Really, really, really. And guys, this is something that we charge $100 a month for. Our Teachable Professional Plan is amazing. If you're someone who has created a course before and you find this deal, a lot of times people are like, why aren't you guys charging more per month? But hey, we just want to get people teaching online. So in this professional plan, you get unlimited courses and students, 100% customizable look and feel. So that's really big for your brand. If you already have images, you already have colors, like if you don't want our Teachable logo on there, you can make your course your own. You get a custom domain. You get advanced learner progress tracking. So you can go in and see, hey, this one person named Phil, he watched 17% of my lecture 2 video in section 4. And now he's emailing me because he doesn't understand. Well, here's why. You can look as an aggregate, like what percentage of people got through your first section. So you can really figure out how to get people engaged. And I know Jenna has a secret on this, and I can't wait to ask in Q&A. So you also get full e-commerce to accept payments on day 1 in any currency. You get email list segmentation. So while a lot of people use MailChimp or ConvertKit or Infusionsoft to send email, you can segment your list in Teachable if you want to do it the completely free way. You get advanced reporting, full white label. You can drip out your content. So this is pretty essential for automating your course and your pre-sale, right? If you've only got 3 sections created, you might want to drip out and automate the emails that let people into those next sections when they're done. 0 transaction fees, instant payouts. You're not going to this is amazing. Normally software companies make money on each sale, every student. 0 transaction fees, instant payouts, unlimited courses and students. So the professional plan is $100 a month. You can also choose our basic plan, which is $39 a month. Both are free for you right now. The reason, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys right now, I believe in 100% transparency. You are getting 30 days of Teachable for free starting on when you upgrade, right? Or when you claim this course creation starter pack. So 30 days from today, you will be charged. Set it on your calendar, right? Set that alarm. We really do think that all of you can create a course in 30 days. And it's a little bit of the impetus to do it and do it now. But if you want to make sure you're rolling over into the professional plan or the basic plan, this is why you have the option, right? The basic plan is that unlimited courses and students, customization, custom domain, and affiliate program. You still integrate with those third parties. You can drip your content. There is just a 5% transaction fee when you make a sale. Okay. But in addition, you need the game plan to launch. And guys, I am so excited about this. I've been working on this 30-day action plan for you guys, and it's sick. It is so cool. It is our follow-up program to take you to launch in 30 days. And this means every day you're getting a daily to-do list right to your inbox. You are getting free templates, right, for every step, plus product demos and tips. You are also getting, sorry about that, quick glitch in my microphone. So every day you are getting a to-do list, free templates, product demos, tips. So those daily to-dos are not vague. They're not think about your idea. They're all right, we're going to test your idea by finding 10 Facebook communities and copying and pasting the things people are complaining about, right? Very, very specific action points. And then you're getting free templates. So as you start creating content for your course, I'm going to deliver professionally designed templates that you can edit and make your own. And then I'm going to give you demos and tips. So, hey, when you make your sales page and you want to see how and where you do that in your course, I'm going to be linking you to our knowledge base articles. And I'll show you how to do it. And I'm going to give you links to my favorite blog posts with the tips from the experts on how to do it and do it right. You are also getting access to the Teachable Tribe, the wonderful community I've been talking about throughout this presentation. We have 7,000 course creators sharing their advice here. There's community support, friendly advice. And like I said, Lee shared all of his swipe copy, all of his conversion rates, all of his sales there. It is a place where people are honest with each other and you can get feedback. Hey, Teachable doesn't do consulting or it's too expensive. You want someone to look at one of your emails, go ahead and put it in this community. This is also where we drop in the latest from Teachable. If we're hosting another workshop, a seminar, something new, our product updates, all here. And then finally, just as a little bit of cherry on the top, you get to be the focal point of our next PR push. So the whole goal of this program is we take 100 course creators to launch, and you get to be at the center of that PR push when it happens. Everything we're giving you today, it is over $1,000 in value, truly. $99 a month in that plan, free. This follow-up program really could charge $400 for it. Those templates, the workbook pages, press coverage. You would actually pay a PR firm well over $200 an hour to get press coverage. We're going to do it for you. And then you will also get the Business Accelerator replays. So the only way to get the replays is if you click on that big orange button to get the course creation starter kit. So again, y'all want the replays from the other day? Click on the orange button. And you get all of this for free, right? That shouldn't be any kind of hesitation. We're not gating this and asking you to put money down. It's free. And we're not kidding. Like, this is so great because, you know, we're not a content company. We're not an information product. We're a software company. So we succeed when you guys succeed. My whole job here is really to make sure people know how to create a course. So it's free. Take it, grab it, get it. We care about you, right? You know, and we've seen, after being in business for 2.5 years, we've seen people coming in, they get on our product, they're really excited, and then somewhere along the way, they get distracted, procrastination, they pay for a few months of Teachable, and then maybe they launch it later. And we don't want that to happen. You know, we want to see you guys succeed. So we are giving you this 30-day launch plan to keep you on track. And we're going to go into live Q&A in a second. I know there are a bunch of questions out there. I can't wait to answer. Type into chat. Let me know if you've clicked on that orange button so I know to look for you on the inside, right? This is the only way to get the replays. Click on the orange button, choose basic or professional. And again, those are the different features here and here. And then you will see this box. And so if you are new to Teachable, you want to fill out this section. Or if you're on the free plan, you can log into your school here. And what will happen afterward is, hey, you'll receive an email from me, Ashley at Teachable. It tells you and reminds you that the 30-day follow-up program starts on September 6th. So we wanted you to give you guys the Labor Day weekend to get yourself in order, to be making that mental shift into like, I am going to do this and do it now. And so on September 6th, you will get the first day of those emails. And that's also when you get the replays. If you're a paying member of Teachable and you want that follow-up program, here's how you get it. I'm dropping it into chat. Sign up for this interest list. So I'll make sure that on September 6th, you get all those follow-up emails as well. Just to clarify, the email looks like this. The subject line is confirmation, access to your course creation starter kit. And it looks like this, just to make sure you are getting the right one. Okay. So I'm really excited. We've got Jenna on the line. Q&A starts now. I'm going to stop screen sharing. And Jenna, I am so curious. What is the one big tip you have to increase student engagement?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to share this with you guys because I think it's something that a lot of people in our industry, they think they know, but like now that I'm 2 years into this, and you know, just to give you guys a little background, I used to be a professor at the University of Oregon and the Forbes School of Business, and I've done course creation for a long time. And so my goal is always to figure out how to take somebody from point A to point B in like the fastest way possible with the least amount of resistance. And this comes with a lot of testing. And so when I first launched my first program about learning how to design 2 years ago, I was teaching students really, really difficult programs like Photoshop and Illustrator. And Photoshop and Illustrator have a huge learning curve. When I was doing the videos for this course, sometimes the videos were really long, like 30 minutes to 60 minutes. I was giving them a lot of creative ability to go through and create things in the course. And while the success rates were good, I was having a lot of people come out of the course being able to design like a professional. It didn't come without a lot of struggle. They were having to go through what I like to call a huge learning curve, and some of them would make it and some of them would drop off. And I couldn't figure out why this was. And I just chalked it up to Adobe programs being difficult. And, it was this endless process of trying to figure out how to make the process easier. So fast forward to me launching my next program, which is about helping people create and launch their courses. I had 127 people come through that course, my first launch. And out of that, 60% of them launched their course in 30 days. Or in 3 weeks, actually. So the difference was astounding to me because in the first version, there was all these learning problems. And in the second version, there was like no issues. And I would be doing video office hours with them, and I was expecting them to cry like they would in the first class while they're trying to learn this difficult program. And there were no tears. There was just people having success. And I was like, well, what is the biggest difference between these two courses that I've launched? And I boiled it down to one series of things that are forever life-changing. And now I've tested them in both theories. So the difference between the two courses was my second course was step by step by step. There was no room for error. you watch anywhere from a 5 to a 20-minute video, and then you go and you take action. And something about making the videos in these bite-sized chunks prevented people from having to hit pause and then go do something and go back and try to find out where they were, or have difficulty finding where in the video they needed to be making progress in their business. So after I had such success with the course launcher, I was thinking, well, here I'm going to be launching my Launch Your Brand program again. And I was just having this aching in my heart about launching it because I was feeling scared of the frustration I was going to have to go through with getting students to go through these long videos again. Mm-hmm. So I had this epiphany that I needed to go back and rework. And part of the issue was I found out that the design program had 2 clear ideal clients, and one of them I wasn't actually addressing. So there was the ideal client that was the aspiring designer that wanted to learn Photoshop and Illustrator. And they had no problem diving into those difficult programs because they really wanted to learn them. And then I had the second ideal client that was a non-designer entrepreneur that just wanted to get their site up and going. So I had to create a new track called the Get It Done track. And it was step by step by step, just like the course launcher was. When I did this, the success rates skyrocketed. Suddenly, every single person in the class could get all the assignments done. Roadblocks were blown through because even if they were suffering a little bit from analysis paralysis, because I was providing templates and because I was providing step-by-step instructions, I would tell them it's more important for you to get this done than for it to be perfect. And from the process of them having small wins, I gave them the forward momentum to get something done, which lit them up and made them super excited. And because they were using a template that looked professional, they would think to themselves, I can do this. I can make this look professional. And then that gave them the creative freedom to then go learn on their own other things that were more complicated. So the big epiphany here was I'm in a mastermind with this really amazing marketer by the name of James Wedmore. Mm-hmm. And I had gotten this idea from him about this step-by-step process because of the way that he talks about how he deals with his assistants. He has a process where he creates a step-by-step instruction guide for his assistant. So if an assistant in the Philippines doesn't work out, he can instantly send this training to the new assistant and he doesn't have to do any retraining. And it's like everything from how to set up a lead page to how to do whatever the processes are. And the epiphany there was, well, why aren't we creating all of our courses like this so that we're ensuring each of the students have success? And so now that I've implemented this and I've tested this with 2 programs, I am thoroughly convinced that when you are course creating, I want you to think about how to not overteach, but to actually take all of the fluff out, all of your stories, everything, and make things so streamlined and simple that even a caveman can do it. Not to quote Geico here, but like it instantly makes it fail-proof. And when you're giving students permission to really make some wins and take some forward progress in whatever problem that you're trying to help them solve, those wins are gonna be what's gonna catapult them into success. And so I've seen now, like, my success rates are well over 60%, which is, I mean, to even have people,
awesome.
To even have people finish a course at 60% is crazy because most people.
It is, y'all. I've pulled the back end data. That's cray.
It's just when you launch a course, you can expect that 50% you're never going to see. And out of the 50% that are doing it, maybe 15 to 20% will finish. And so to have 65% actually finish and be successful is huge. And this is the secret. So if you can make things step by step, don't overteach. Your job is actually to make your students do the work through the videos. And that's just, you're giving them small wins to get them where they need to be.
Absolutely. Holy cow. Y'all, did you catch that from Jenna? Like I'm paying attention because that is so true. So one thing we've said at Teachable is like, get your students to early wins, like make sure you have discussion, show them what they've learned. That is how you do it. right? And she's so right. Like, munchable content sounds like a funny buzzword, but it's true. People are taking your course when they get home from work, when they've put the kids to bed, you know, on their lunch break. So if you can quickly go through like, oh, hey, I just watched something, I did something, sense of accomplishment, people are going to stick with it. It's human psychology. And you know what? That's one thing, like, it's really awesome here at Teachable. We are digging into that data. We are starting to pull those correlations. We've got enough people creating courses that we finally have statistical significance that we can look into like different topic areas, you know, different things that are going on. So cool. And what Jenna is saying is so right. Like, do you have a blog post on this?
Yeah, no, I need to do one. And it's kind of a new revelation after, you know, going through this last launch again and seeing students struggle on the same spot that they had previously, but not having a solution. Because, and part of it, you know, I can't really beat myself up for not like knowing this 2 years ago, because I was also waiting for technology to catch up. And with things like Canva and with Pixlr, there were certain things that like Canva couldn't do, you know, 6 months ago that Canva can do now that we needed to have before, making Illustrator and Photoshop more, not as important. So it's kind of cool because now I'm actually finding a combination of all of these things of doing little lessons on the coolest things that Photoshop and Illustrator can do, and only teaching them those little things, and then having everything else be in sort of a get it done easy mode. Just being an advocate for your students and listening where they're struggling and constantly refining the course so that you have something that's up to date, that is cutting edge, is really important. This is not just something where you just create it once and then you just, I mean, it will make you money for a certain period of time, but you have to like be the advocate for your student and make your students' success your number one priority, because if you do that, they will become your brand ambassadors, and your marketing efforts are going to be a lot less important, because you're going to have people screaming your name from the rooftops like, this was the one person that helped me do this, you know?
Absolutely. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that so much. All right. So let's see. You guys have questions out there. I want to hear them. What are they? What are you guys wondering about in launching your course? Because Jenna really is awesome at it. She's an expert. We're lucky to have her here today. So what do you guys want to know? All right. Dennis asks about our webinar platform. Yeah, Jackson on our team made it, built it, custom made. So thanks. I'll let him know. I was wondering, can I do a video in one of my crazy 8 emails, and which day? So Jenna, have you ever put a video in one of your launch emails?
You actually can't do that, because unfortunately with the way that email technology works, you almost kind of can fake it, depending on there are some interesting prompts in Gmail where if you have a YouTube link, sometimes they will provide a link to your YouTube video in the email. And I can't remember how that actually, I've generally never done that. I've just seen that happen sometimes. But in general, you can't send videos through emails. What you can do is take a screenshot of, or like, it's basically like an image of something that looks like a video. When they click on it, you can either have it go to your website or to YouTube. And if you do have them go to YouTube, make sure that you have an opt-in link on the YouTube description. If they're going to your blog or website, make sure that you have a content upgrade for them to get on the email list that way. But yeah, you can use videos in your launch, but you want to make sure that you are using a screenshot and linking to something, so it's prompting them to link or click into the actual page where the video is.
Absolutely. So I think it was Anna earlier. Cool, this chat's going really fast. When do you tell people that this is a pre-sale and you haven't created all of the content?
Oh, see, I in general, for me, I generally don't sell courses that are not beta tested prior. So for me, I don't, I mean,
If
I
you're
was
like the beta pre-sale, you would tell people from the beginning that this is
Oh, sure. Yeah. So if it was beta, I would definitely be like, we're creating this course together. So that would be the thing. You just be super clear about that. For courses that have been beta tested, you're going to have the material finished. So it just depends on which way you're doing it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like a beta launch is pretty much like what this is. It's a pre-sale. I would just say that from day one is when you're like, hey guys, I'm so excited. I'm starting to build a course. I'm doing this thing. And it was based off of your pain points and the things you've been complaining about and hoping to solve those issues. I can't wait to launch this to you. In fact, I would love for you to help me create it, right? I'm going to release this course with about 3 or 4 sections created, but there's an opportunity here for you guys to jump in and show me what you want in the rest of the course. I'm looking to cover this, this, and this. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Like, work that language into that first email, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, so do you charge for a beta course? I personally don't. But there are a lot of businesses that are super successful in doing pre-launching with like maybe a smaller fee for beta tests as they're testing something. It just depends on how you set up. It depends on how long you've been in business for. It depends on where. It depends. There's lots of different theories on charging for beta courses. I personally don't charge for them, or I save them for my best customers.
Actually, because Pat Flynn does, Lee does. Like we see it all the time.
Wow. Well, usually for new course creators, in my perspective, is that it takes a lot of trust to get somebody to whip out their credit card. Mm-hmm. And for me, if somebody is doing a beta launch and they're creating, let's say, $1,000 program that they're selling for, let's say, a couple $100 in a beta launch, to me, it changes their framing in their mind of how much the course is worth to the end customer and to yourself. And so my theory about it is for new course developers is that if you do a beta test for free with your course, you can get 100 beta testers. You can find out where all the holes of the program is. You can completely adjust the creation of the program with those testers. And at the end of it, you have a huge string of testimonials. Whereas if you have no audience and you're trying to sell something, the free beta test will tell you right away if your course idea is good or not. Because if you can't get somebody to sign up for free, then you know that you shouldn't be spending the next 3 to 6 months developing something. So like, I have this personal thing where like once somebody creates the payment for that it could potentially create a certain level of pressure on you as a course developer. So mm-hmm. The process I take my students through is I say, don't charge for beta tests. Test them, collect testimonials, kick students out if they're not doing the work. If they've paid for a beta test and they're not doing the work, there's this refund obligation thing that I think that can happen. And so in the studies that I've done, it's actually proven to work really well to have the application process be really tough for them to get into the beta test. So that application plus the value of the program plus them getting kicked out if they don't do the work is an alternative to charging for it. But there's other big businesses like Pat Flynn's business or your guys' business where it works. I just think it's like 2 different methodologies for how to do it.
Definitely. And you guys, when we talked about creating lead magnets, one thing we created is like a mini course that again should mm-hmm. be free, and that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is a great question, Michelle. I'm so sorry, but you guys have the difference basically between pre-sale versus course opening. Okay. So you can have a course opening and a pre-sale, a beta test, a full launch. Basically, when your course opens, that just means you hit publish on Teachable and your course is open for enrollment. It means people can click on the enroll button, and whether that is paid, not paid, at a discount, whatever it is, they can get in there from your sales page. So you turn it on, you publish your course, it's live, people can get in. So a pre-sale is, before your course is finished, you are selling it. Like pre-final course, selling it. A beta course is like, hey, you're trying to create this awesome like signature course. It's telling people, hey, this is like, I did it. I want you guys to test it out with me. I want you to be like the beta testers, the beta users. The same way like If you guys know, like Google Labs, there are certain features that they're like beta testing. So they're not fully launched yet. People go into it knowing that there might be flaws or glitches or certain things that need to be worked out. That would be like a good beta. Jenna, did I explain that right? Is there anything you'd want to add?
Yeah, that all sounds great.
Yeah, cool. All right, so and we also, just for anyone who wants like a little bit more in depth on pre-selling, we've got a blog post on the Teachable blog. It's like six steps to a successful pre-sale, and I can go ahead and grab that and drop that into chat. So if you guys want to go into it, you'll know what's up. Let's see. More questions, you guys. D, when a new opt-in comes in, how long before I should start the Crazy 8 sequence? Do they need a few weeks of newsletter nurturing? Jenna, first instinct, what do you think?
So what was the question one more time? It was about nurturing. So when a new, how long before you should start the Crazy 8? Do they need a few weeks of? That's a tough one, because I used to think that you needed to have a huge list before you launched. And then I discovered that launching is actually a really good list building time.
Yeah.
That you can actually build. I think in my last launch, I doubled my list. And so if you think about that, that actually people who are new to your list can be just as likely to buy as people who've been on your list for a while. Yeah. So I know that seems really counterintuitive, that they would need to know you for a long time, but there's always going to be a certain percentage that find you, fall in love with you, and want to take action now. And so I would say that as long as they're getting the sequence in some way, shape, or form, then you're going to be fine. It should be able to convert a new person as much as it would an older person. You're probably going to have a certain level, a percentage of people who saw a launch that you did previously that are waiting for you to launch again. Yeah. And that's where it's kind of hard to really judge how long it takes for somebody to be a customer, because there's a wide variety of variables in that.
And for sure. And just so everyone knows, like in this 30-day like email follow-up, right? So it takes you through as a month, right? And in the beginning, we create one lead magnet. We talk about how to put it out there, and you start building your list. And then you'll send a newsletter every Tuesday, because someone who comes in your list on September 1st, not that specific date, but like September 1st, you want to stay in touch with them if you launch October 1st, right? You don't just want them to sit on your list for 30 days, which is why we have you sending a newsletter every Tuesday. But hey, like you get someone in on your list on Tuesday and your launch starts on Thursday, like that's fine, right? They're on their list, they opted in, they decided to put in their email address to get your free piece of content. They know you're there. And one thing you can do too is put like an unsubscribe button on your launch emails. So if people don't want to get them, they don't have to. But most of the time, people love it, and that's always like a big fear, is like, oh, hey, I don't want to send more than like one email about my launch. Like, oh, I'm just going to send one. Like, think how easy it is to miss one email, even from someone who's really important, right? Like, you want to make sure you're sending the full 8. And Melissa Griffin talks about that, about how like people thanked her for sending multiple emails. And like Lee, who did it with us, he said the same thing. He was like, I was worried, and I did see some people unsubscribe, but those people weren't going to buy from me anyway. And if you have a lot of people on your list who aren't going to buy from you, you're going to start to have issues with deliverability, with people who are upset. Like, send the 8 emails. Jenna, when you launch, how many emails do you have?
It really depends on the launch, but I would say usually I write about 8. So same sort of thing. I usually do them with blog entries. So it's a combination of an email and a blog entry. And that way it's really easily shareable, is the reason why I do that. So if they love the content, they can actually share the blog entry easily. I usually start off with identifying what the common problems are at the beginning of the launch phase, so that they really feel like, oh, she understands me. I've encountered these things before. some common mistakes that people make. So when they think like, oh, I know what the solution is, I'll have my cousin design my logo who's an artist or whatever. And then I talk about the reasons about why that's a terrible idea. So you kind of dispel the myths that they think of instead of hiring you, what they could do instead. And it positions you as the expert. And then going into a valuable piece of content that will knock their socks off, that gives them a taste of the program. And then going into the frequently asked questions and all of the closing of the cart stuff. It's a great process that totally works, and the ability to create that sense of urgency and really create compelling copy based on getting to know your audience and what the issues actually are, and then using their words to them is always a really good thing to do, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. So someone again asked, Anne, about videos in your email. You really can't do videos in your email. The closest thing you can get to is like a GIF. But again, a lot of times those won't load and they look pretty terrible. So videos and emails, not a great idea. Sending more than 8 emails. Woo! Yeah, David, crazy 12, crazy 27. Jenna, would you send 12 emails?
I have actually done short launches and long launches to see what would work. And I think that it happened more out of circumstance and out of really wanting things to go that way. In the last launch that I had, I was having issues because I did a brand video for my launch, and there where we had to go refilm the launch. And so it ended up being like a 20-day launch, and it was really, really, really long. And wow. We also kept adding in a bunch of joint venture webinars with students and with JV partners that I had. And it ended up it was a 6-figure launch, so it was great, but it wasn't as big as a shorter launch that I had. So I think that sometimes you can overwhelm people. The good thing about a longer launch is you're allowing more time to grow your list. So there can be benefits to both, but creating that sense of urgency, you have their attention for a short period of time. So I would say like shorter launches are definitely better because you want that transformation to happen quicker and get them hungry faster. So yeah, I've done both. And I definitely think the shorter launch is better.
Definitely. For sure. And you'll see it a little bit too in like your email open and unsubscribe rates. Like if you're going for too long, you'll be like, oh, like,
yeah, you'll lose a lot more people on your list too, for sure.
For sure. Okay, so with anyone having issues with the page and upgrading, we're working on it. A lot of times it can be a browser issue. Reports say good for Chrome, so I would try that. We're also going to drop in a direct link to that that sales page where you can click on the button in case anyone's getting stuck moving from webinar app to there. Cool. All right, so any more questions about launching? Want to get into the nitty gritty? I know this feels probably pretty far off for people. It'll sneak up on you. And, that's why like everyone who's upgrading today gets this replay so you can watch it when you need it, why we have those blog posts there for everyone as well. Cool. Is there a recommended day of the week that you start and end your email launch? Yes and no. So you can check out, MailChimp has a great blog post for different times that the industry recommends you send your email. I generally find that 11 a.m. works really well across the continents. Like it's late for the people in Europe, but it's not too late. It gets people on the West Coast. It's great for East Coast. 11 a.m. is a pretty neutral time. So that's a great place there. Do think like you probably don't want to have like the last day of your launch on like a Friday night, but
that's true. Or even Sunday is kind of a tough one because a lot of people don't check their emails on Sundays, and they will go on vacation and they'll come back and they'll check their email on Monday and see that they missed the launch. So I think Tuesday is a good day to end a launch.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. How many email addresses does someone need to launch their course?
It depends on how engaged they are and how warm they are. I've seen people have, okay, so in the course launcher course where I've had students do their own beta tests, I've seen them get a waiting list of anywhere from 200 to 400 people to do a beta test. They'll go through such an amazing experience doing the free beta test that at the end of it, my students would actually offer this thing called lifetime beta tester, and it's just for the testers. And the requirement would be like, it costs $1,000 and you get every single program that I make for the entirety of my business. And I had people have $15,000 launches with like less than 200 people on their list. So it really depends on the value you're providing. It depends on the offer. It depends on the price. Because if you're selling something that only costs like $100, you're not going to have a big launch without a huge list, because it takes so many more sales to do that. So it really depends on price, and it depends on the value that you're offering and the relationship that you have. And in those particular instances where students had done the beta test and had sold to the beta testers for something to continue on the process, they were so warmed up over 8 weeks of thousands of dollars worth of content that it was an easy sell. But for general launching, I would say you can always expect about a 1% to 3% conversion rate.
Yep. Jenna's right. That's exactly it. Fabienne asks, my course is not live and there's no interaction with the course. Can I leave the course as permanent, meaning not having a closing date to sell the course? So I think you're asking about whether or not you want an evergreen course versus open and close. And you want to open and close your course. On your first launch, you don't just want to open it and let your course sit there. Like, no one will go to that sales page. It's not interesting. It's not good content. It won't be shared. You have to let people know that your course is open, and do that through a launch sequence. And that would be much more effective if your course opens and closes. Perfect. Cool. Best time to send emails. I've seen 11 a.m. Eastern. Jenna, when do you send? Do you worry and do you micro optimize for email send time?
I don't. I do consider where people are in terms of the actual offering office hours to students who sign up. I make sure that I hit Australian time zones versus American time zones versus European time zones. And I also consider people who have 9-to-5 jobs during the week and making sure that there's either an evening or a weekend time available for them. I think that that's far more important than, creating a schedule of emails to go out at the right time. I do think it's super helpful if you do find out for some reason that you're really big in the UK and everything is structured on a West Coast time schedule, or something that you could be doing a disservice. So it is helpful to take a look at your the demographics of your email list. And you can find out the demographics of that actually by downloading an email list and creating audiences in Facebook. Like they will actually show you where people are based on their email address. I'm sure there's other demographic tools as well. Yeah. There might even be demographic tools inside of your email marketing system where you can see where people are. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you'll train your list too when you start sending your newsletters every day, Tuesday, at whatever time. Your list will know to look for your email then. I'm on the Skim and I'm on Next Draft, 2 daily newsletters, and I know to look for the Skim at 11 in the morning. So on my commute in, I read Next Draft on the way home. Cool. So, Ala, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Tips on pricing. So we covered pricing on day 4. And that replay will be yours, when you snag the course creation starter kit. That pricing is like a huge pain point. I know everyone asks about it and wonders what it is, and it feels very, very mysterious. We got you. Don't worry. We can figure it out. Perfect. Sandy, you can go ahead and grab the link to get the email follow-up. But the free month is only available for people that are new to Teachable or on the free plan. Okay, cool. So we've kept Jenna for, an hour and 40 minutes. I told her it would be much shorter than this. So let's take one last question before we say goodbye and we wrap up this business accelerator. So one last question. Patricia, yes. The 30-day action plan breaks it down really small. So this is a business accelerator trying to get you guys like, seminars, what's up, like you've got that information there. And we're going to be breaking down what to do on every single day.
So Katana says something like creative ways to market courses for personal development coaches. Did you want me to answer that? I would say I would say that that's, come up with, if you have an audience currently, I would survey them. And if you don't have an audience, I would go to where those people are. So let's say that there's Facebook groups or meetup groups or LinkedIn groups where those people are hanging out. I would go and actually, there's a couple of different things that you can do. You can go through and actually put surveys in Facebook groups or create surveys and say, hey, everybody, I'm new here. I'm developing a course and I'm desperately trying to figure out what people are struggling with. You will see common trends. You want to ask qualifying questions about the kind of person that you want to work with. So let's say that you only want to work with moms. You might want to have a qualifying question that says, are you a mom, yes or no? And then anybody who answers no, you can filter all of their answers out. Or let's say the program you're trying to develop is focused on a specific problem. Like let's just say, for example, if you were a health coach and you were trying to help people who wanted to lose 100 pounds or more, that's a very specific kind of person. You could go into a weight loss group and say, are you looking to lose 100 pounds or more? Answer, these quick 3 questions for me about what you're struggling with the most. And the kinds of questions that you would ask in there are, if you could change one thing about blank, what would it be? And by asking questions like this, it gets people to pinpoint the exact language of what they need help with. And it can also lead to insight of what they're looking for. So when I did this with my own courses, I found out that people were dying for an aerial perspective of how to launch their brand. And so I could create a lead magnet or a freebie for my website that was an aerial perspective of how to launch their brand. So they could opt into my email ad or opt into my email list, be able to get this amazing high quality list. And then what would happen is it would be telling them what to do, but they would actually have to buy the course to figure out how to do it. So when we talk about course, any sort of business at all with coaching, if you can figure out what is the thing that they're struggling with, get them on your email list and then woo them with why you are the person to do the job, then that's really honestly the best way to market, I think. Yeah.
100%. All right, y'all. So this is it. This is last day 7 of the Business Accelerator. So we have had an awesome 7 days going through everything you need, right? So normally you have one webinar that covers every one of these steps. We broke it down over 7 days, from ideation to lead magnets, email list growing, content, sales pages, and this launch. So if you're here for all of them, let me know in chat. Let me know what you guys have thought. Show Jenna some love. Would love to get your feedback. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this. I know time is the one resource no one gets back. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. And we are completely honest in saying that our goal is to take 100 of you to launch, right? 100 new course creators to launch. And this program was meant to do that. So we are going to get the replays to all of you very soon. We're going to have that 30-day follow-up program for you, completely free, whether you are a paid or unpaid teachable user. And we want to take you guys to launch, right? We want to do it. So I want to end this Business Accelerator on one very special note, and that is that you have got to do it, right? You've got to decide and do it now. People fall off the boat later. You don't always have a program like this there. And this truly will not be offered again, right? We're not doing something like this. So this is the one time where you will get that free guidance. So take us up on it. Decide the time is now. We're here for you. There's going to be a community. Morgan Tim, who's been writing on the blog with us, is going to be creating a course along with you guys and vlogging about it every Thursday, giving you more free resources. So everything is here for all of you. I know there are a bunch of people here today that were with us for every day or a few days before this. Thank you for joining. It has been so awesome. Seriously, I really honestly mean that. The crowds have been fantastic. Every one of these experts has stopped to say you guys are awesome. So thank you for being here. It has been so great, and see you on the inside, right? Let me know when you launch that course, and I'll see you in the Teachable Tribe. Bye, y'all.
Bye.